Hey everybody, welcome. This is the Commotion, and I'm Roshan Joshi.
And I'm Eric Castro.
And today we have a really special guest with us. His name is Taizu, the artist, writer, performer, and all-around cool guy. How you doing today?
Hey, I like that intro. I'm good, bro. How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good, man. You like the intro? Right off the bat, we're gonna say, if you guys like any of the music on our page, check out Be the Human. His description is in the link below. And if you like our content, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button.
Get them subs.
Yeah, man. So how you doing today? How's it going?
I'm good, bro. I'm excellent. How are you doing? How you guys doing?
I'm doing all right. Not too bad. A lot of work in right now, even though Corona's going on. We're doing a lot of extra work on our own end because we have that extra time. So we're trying to make it well worth it.
Yeah, we're happy that you take the time to talk to us and make it interesting for us.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you guys reaching out, yo. You already know.
So yeah, man. Tell us a little about yourself. Where are you from?
So I'm from Bucks County. I was born in New Jersey, in Livingston. And then I grew up in Bucks County, all my schooling, and then I went to school in Philadelphia. I went to Drexel, which is where I first started writing music, and then, first time I went in the studio was when I was a student at Drexel. So that's kind of was where the seed was planted for hip hop and for where I am now. But yeah, I'm from the Bucks County area, Philadelphia area.
Okay, now going more to that. So how did it start? What motivated you to start writing?
What motivated me to start was we used to drink and have these battles. So there's this legendary apartment complex at Drexel. Shout out Drexel, called Crossings. So it was right by the dorms too. So we had friends that were older. You know what I mean? They're sophomores and juniors. So freshman year we would pull up to their apartments because we had our dorms, and we would just drink. And they had a PA in their room. With a microphone, so we would just drink and freestyle and smoke and freestyle. And one of the battles, my boy came with a written, and he wasn't freestyling, and he went off with the freestyle. It was battle bars, and I was freestyling on the other end, and everyone's just oh! And I was in my mind, I was didn't want to be a sore loser, but I'm bro, it's a freestyle, and you came with a written. Those aren't the rules, you know that. So the next week, I came with a written specifically about him, and that was a time when all that Michael Vick stuff was happening. It's 2006 or 7.
Okay.
And I was you think you're my dog, but I'm Michael Vick. And everybody was oh! And I was oh, that feels great. So from then, I started writing. I just kept writing little freestyles and battle stuff. And then my boy Anjum, who I met at Drexel, I met him through smoking. We just hit it off. He was in the dorm across from me, and he was I write too. So then we started this thing where between classes we'd write, and we'd meet between classes and see what we wrote during that class period, and we'd rap the bars to each other on the sidewalk before, as we were moving to the next class. And that's how it first really started happening, where I started getting a collection of writtens. Before it was just freestyles and just having fun. Yeah. But when I really started writing was because we would just go back and forth with one another, just sharing our writtens between classes. And then it got to the point where we had 20 writtens, and I was oh, this would be cool to record this. And then it just started flowing from there.
Wow, that's really interesting. Right off the bat, you had some dude cheat, and then as soon as you came in armed, you hit that level of high when everybody gave you the props, the fact that you buried them.
Yeah, that feeling is incredible.
No, and the reason I bring this up actually is so. After talking to a couple of people that are pretty elite within whatever their respective fields are, I'm finding out that level of high that you get when you have a competitive win, and in different areas too, whether it be an actual athletic, or whether it be tattooing, or whether it be rapping. When that specific chasing of the high, that's how you start building yourself up, and you start creating. I guess more of a foundation for yourself. I'm noticing a trend, so this is cool.
Yeah, it's
oh, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say that it's you feed them that energy and you just pump yourself up, right?
Yeah, and it's hip hop, one of those things where there's a lot of bravado involved, right? Especially in the battle side of things, it's all about how good you are. It's how about your skill set. where in a lot of different musical forms, it's not, there's a little bit less of an ego involved. In a particular way, but that's how hip hop kind of flourished and developed, right? It was kind of a music that stood out and was made to be almost like an act of defiance in a sense where it's like, if you don't hear me, you're going to hear me. And now it's like the whole world's listening. So it's really dope. But like that kind of confidence that you needed to have was something is what took time to develop, because being a brown kid in the space too, it's like you didn't really have idols as such. Like I'm talking about 2007, where Heems and Das Races and certain people were starting to develop and grow and blow up, but it was not that on the main scale. Like kind of how we had a Jay Sean, where it was somebody brown who transcended and got a cosign from Lil Wayne. And so, but there was nobody like that to look to in that time period. So figuring out where you fit in the space too was one of those important things that I feel like early on, I wasn't sure. And as you develop your sound and you write more and you get more comfortable with yourself and how you see yourself in the space, it kind of naturally, those things start falling into place, like you start to understand who you are and what you want to say.
I see. And now that you talk about like all those big guys and big teams, like at that time that you started rapping, who would you say is like your biggest inspiration? Like
Wayne.
Who do you look at?
Lil Wayne all day. All
right.
I'm a very big fan of Lil Wayne myself.
Yeah, Wayne is. I mean, nobody dropped 170 remixes. Like, nobody got on a track and made you relevant. Like, you could have the hottest song in America, and he was just gonna make it hotter. It was crazy. He's a fireman. So, like, he'd pull up, and I remember that period, like, going on LimeWire and, like, digging to be the first person who found the new Wayne remix.
Oh, yeah.
My friend, you remember that? Where it's like, nah, you heard this, though? Nah, you heard... And, like, that excitement and that period in hip-hop was, like, oh, it was golden. I miss that. Like, I miss that period of Wayne just literally going everywhere and just vomiting on the mic and just being like, all right, like, cool, bro. Like, it was beautiful.
Bring back Birdman Jr., man. Agreed. Like,
Jr., yeah.
Hell yeah, you kidding me? He actually dropped just in reference, he dropped a music video not too long ago. A couple, maybe like on the back end of April. And he's like skating as he's doing his whole entire set. Huh?
Is that for the track Mamma Mia?
It is. I gotta give me a moment and I'll figure that out. I was like skate shooting something.
It's one line. Beat around the bush. I come around the bush with a bush cutter and look for you. That's how he starts off Mamma Mia. I'm like, that's that Wayne I'm talking. Wayne had those lines where it's like, and he would have so much fun too. Like on Lollipop Remix, when he did with Kanye, he said, safe sex is great sex. Better wear a latex because you don't want that latex that I think I'm latex. And it's like, wow. It's like, wait, crazy. He's having so much fun with it while he's just still hitting it with these puns and the word. It's just like, that personality that he had, it was like everything, Like that gave me energy. Like I listened to that old Wayne and I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to go down. Like, what's about to happen? You look around a little bit like, what's about to go down?
Did you use a lot of puns when doing the battle rapping?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Do you use a lot of puns as well? Like
I do. I love wordplay. So like for me, the best part about writing is making it where that's that balance, right? You don't want to make it so complicated that the viewer can't listen and get it, where they have to like take out a dictionary or like go to the encyclopedia to understand what historical reference you're making. You want to make it digestible, but then also keep it something where there's gems to come back to, where it's like simple wordplay that's like laced throughout, where because that was one of those things I love with Wayne, where it's like he had that simple line on Phone Home. He said, "No brake lights on my car rear." And like the simple wordplay of career and car rear. And it's just like one of those things you can go back to. And it's just like, wait, whoa. You know what I mean? It's like those, so it doesn't have to be overly complicated. But yeah, I love the puns and I love writing little things in there where it's like, you can go back later and once it's like broken down, and I hope one day, when Genius will go in there and be like, oh, because the way I write, like it's like infused with references. And a lot of puns and metaphors. Like I try to lace it in there where it's not obvious, like that. Like Drake closed that one where it's like it's not how it seems. It's not how it seems when it's so together. You know what I mean? Like it's not how it seems when it's so together. It's like when you hear that, you don't even understand the wordplay in that. But it's just like, brilliant. You know what I mean? And then he's like, put it back for reference, or whatever he says in that track, where you gotta listen back, and it's like, oh, not what it seems when it's sewed together. And it's like, yo. But yeah, that's the stuff I live for. I love that simple wordplay, but something that has multiple meanings and it'll hit differently for different people too. Like, I think there's a lot of fun in that.
All right. Okay.
What's your favorite music video?
Oh, that's a good one. I've never thought about that.
I'm surprised that you never thought about that. And I'm gonna say why in a minute.
Yeah, not like my favorite music video. You know, from early on, I loved, and it was because of how, at first, how random it was, and then when it hit for me, how much I loved it. The Love Lockdown video that Kanye had. Okay. I thought was really dope. Really cleverly made, and like the symbolism in that video, I thought was really dope.
Okay. So that
wouldn't be my favorite all time. That just came off top because I love the metaphor and the storytelling of that video. I think is brilliant, and the way he went on Ella and presented that's hilarious. Like, Kanye is there for that.
So the reason I actually ask you is because, and it's very interesting that you say that you're not really sure because you don't really think about it like that, is because you put out a really dope music video in practice.
Oh.
Dude, when I saw that, number one, check it out. Check out Practice. Check out, and we're gonna talk about some stuff you're working on too. But check out Practice, the music video I'm talking about. There's a couple of very extremely artistic scenes that I saw that caught my eye very well. So here, actually,
yeah, shout out Wes Caspio, my boy Wes, who shot that Bobby. Shout out Jay. Yeah, that's my whole crew out in LA. We filmed this other track called For the Birds. We ended up not dropping the track. We're not dropping the what's it called, the song yet either. I don't know if we will, but we filmed both those videos that weekend. Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, I love Practice. I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna pop something up real fast that I really liked off of it that I thought was really cool. Oof.
Yeah, those cuts were nice. Shout out Mbika. She did all the styling on this, and she made the blindfolds, and Mbika killed that.
Okay, dude, that was one of the coolest scenes that I saw. When I saw that thing, I was you stopped me for a second in my tracks, and I was like, did he really just wait, what? Dope. So
all right, I need to talk about that video, and that's the thing I saw in one of your other videos, is that I don't know if you have a lot of in your videos, but like I see there's a lot of wide angles. Like they cut to like short and then just wide angles and stuff. Like I really like that. Like it's just showing the location and showing like how are you based on it. So what do you have a lot of saying like the videos are like, or you just give your idea to the director?
Yeah, it's both. Like some of them, like for example, the Maniac video that I did. My boy Ariel had that idea. He was listening to it and he's like, "Yo, this idea hit me," and he just wrote me up a treatment and sent it to me. And then like for Waves, which we made a short film, I just kind of wrote the whole thing. I sent it to my boy James, and I was like, "Hey, this is a treatment. This is what I see. Can you help me bring this to life?" Because then it's the logistics of the shots, and they're all one takes. Each little 60-second clip was a one take. So I'm like, "Can we bring this to life? And is it logistically possible within our budgets, our locations, all of that?" But yeah, I am pretty hands-on with the visuals. My original love was film. Before, like I wanted to be a filmmaker first before I really got into the music space and started writing songs. I was like making little audios on my Talkboy tape recorder. Like I'm making little videos on I had a Panasonic camcorder and like a Canon camcorder. And we would just film like Blair Witch Project, go into the woods. We would film like parody stuff, like scary movie style, like parodying movies. But just like little stuff, it was always, even for all my school projects, I still have those videos too. I was looking back, it's crazy. I just made videos for any project I could. because I was like, why am I gonna like write something? Like I can just film it, which I love doing it anyway, and it comes off as creative. So it's like, all right, dope. I don't want to, you know, which is funny because I'm like a writer now, but back then when you have to write stuff for school, it's different than when you write from what you want to write. This is like, all right, here's what you have to write. Here's the boundaries that you have to live within. And I'm like, oh, that's not as fun. So I would always kind of move towards film. So early on, like originally I wanted to go to New York Film School. I ended up going to Drexel, and then I did some stuff like Temple Film School on the side, like working on some short film stuff. But it was like this sacrifice. I was like, all right, cool. I can still keep this business around. And then I ended up dropping out of Drexel, so it didn't matter anyway. But when I did go, the idea was it's like, all right, I'll do both, because it was like, I don't want to, you know, I like having that base education. I thought at that point, you know, being 18, and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm talking to my parents, and they would be saying like, yeah, you know, like just do that so you can do film on the side and you can still. And I was like, okay, yeah.
What you're spoon fed, what everybody in America is spoon fed.
And so in that moment, I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, fine, then that's what it is. And I went that route, and I'm glad I did, because I met some beautiful people at Drexel, and my experiences were great. But I dropped out 3 years in because I'm just like, this didn't fit my narrative for my story. It just didn't. I didn't think it was going to be something, a tool, a skill set that I needed specifically from what I was getting from the institution. So yeah, like the film was originally my love, and then as music came, the idea was now too with the new music videos that I'm working on and things we're creating is the transition to more cinematic. I love wide. There's something so, and when you get the close up, because that's what it is. It's a perfect metaphor. This earth is a wide angle, and we're this little earth right in the middle of it. And we have all of our stories and all of our fears and all of our insecurities and all of these things that are so relative to us and important. But in the grand scale of things, when you look up at the sky at night and you see the vastness of the cosmos, you realize the irrelevance of us, right? Our ego and this idea of the self leads you to believe, because self-preservation is key for survival. That's how we've made it this far. Life is not dumb in how it's programmed. But it's something that we forget then in this like globe. We really get lost in this bubble that is Earth. So it's like with film, it's like that transition or that ability to kind of connect these stories is something you can transport people. And absolutely you can do that with music, of course. And what's beautiful with music, you can do it in a 3-minute period. You can transform and be gone somewhere. And you create your own visuals. But I love giving the visuals to people which is what film does, which has that ability where it's like, cool, you're not like, I'm going to paint the whole world for you. All you got to do is sit and just watch, just digest it and enjoy it. You know, like there's no other work required. So
I love that somewhat nihilistic way of like looking at things and why you gotta enjoy things because we're small. I like that, and actually kind of translates from the wide angles. To be honest.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's like, I think relevance is something that everybody wants, and humanity, it's like we want to be loved, we want to be accepted. There's certain things that come with us being social animals that is going to be a natural emotion to feel. I feel though, as we move towards like a larger consciousness with art, with everything, like what Corona's causing now, right? It's like we recognize how fragile we are. Like Corona is destroying no other species but humans. Like, right? They're saying maybe dogs can get it, or someone said tigers got it. I don't know. But what I mean to say is it's not decimating any of those other animal communities. The only animals affected by this are humans. Yeah. And so it's like it's kind of it helps put into perspective our fragility in this place, because when as apex predators, since we've gone unchecked for so long,
it's evolutionary.
Yeah, and now we've mastered survival in such a way that we don't think about survival anymore, right? So now as we're transitioning towards that, it becomes something that it's easy to get disconnected from where we came from. You know, we've forgotten, because we further isolate ourselves from each other. If you look, we lived in tribes, and then the tribes grew to a point where it got so big that we had to then re-isolate and move back again as we continued to evolve. So it's like we used to live in forests, then we cut the forest down, we brought those pieces of wood out of the forest, and we built houses to separate ourselves from the forest using the forest. So it's like, that's human though. That's what we do. It's like, hey, what's up? I'm human. Like, I'm here for business. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to pull up on Mars in 2030.
I was just about to ask you, man. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about the human? Just because now we're going into macrocosm here. What do you think about the human race taking that next step to become a multi-planetary species or a multi-planetary civilization?
I think it's a natural evolution. You know, like the way that they said that the reasons that Neanderthals became extinct is because if you look at their fossils, you don't find that, or their bones, you don't find them on the islands, right? Or in places that you had to travel by water, because they believed that they never created boats or never took those risks. Homo sapiens did, right? We were curious enough. Like, can you imagine that, when we didn't have maps or we thought the earth was flat or whatever, to pull up in like a wooden ship and just be like, I'm just gonna just go off into the water.
Yep, exactly.
That's wild. That's so insane. The tenacity and like just like that's just so human. This is like, it's such a human thing to do. Like, I'm just gonna go pull up, and that's what we're doing out in space. So it's a natural evolution, I think, and because we've survived because of that trait, to be the exploratory trait and that curiosity that we have, that's allowed us to survive and evolve to this extent, right? Where now we have nobody else. There's no Cro-Magnons or Neanderthals or whatever.
We won.
We won. Right, we did it.
But no, I mean, even as you said, like that human exploration, like going to the new world from crossing that sea was a big jump and a big leap, and everybody was like, wait, what the heck are you doing? So how do you feel about like Elon Musk really putting it out there and being like, hey guys, SpaceX, let's get it going. Let's start actually putting a plan into play, and over the next 40 to 50 years, get over 100,000 to 1 million people on another planet.
Yeah, I think it's ambitious, and I think it's beautiful. I think it's a natural evolutionary process. I do think it's funny. It's very metaphorical, I feel like, of humans, in the sense of like, we haven't figured out our oceans. We don't know what's on this earth yet. We haven't even figured out this earth yet, and we're like, all right, what's next? And that's kind of how we operate as humans too. Like, sometimes we don't know ourselves, but we're out there checking a lot of people, and it's like, look in the mirror and kind of go a little deeper first before you start checking outside everything else, which sometimes we fail to do. But again, in terms of literally like the idea of us like traveling, being in travel, I think it's a natural evolution. I think we're destined. It's going to be interesting to see where we go. I'm not sure. I feel like unless we need to move towards some sort of global consciousness as one species, like these geopolitical boundaries, the way we view each other through class, through race, a lot of these lenses, and through like this ethnocentric model that everyone's chosen, and it's good to be proud of your culture, but it's also important to recognize, J. Krishnamurti said that to believe in culture is to be violent. And it's not because, like, my grandmother, who's super cultured in that sense and prays all day, or is traditional, and a traditional Indian woman, she's not violent. She doesn't do anything violent at all. But the fact that there's othering involved when your culture comes first and humanity doesn't come first, that's where this idea of violence happens, because then you have a scale of people who understand it. Just like religion, you have a scale of severity, and it's like you open the possibility of it to go to the extremes, which is with everything, but it's in recognizing the power of the tool, and then who's wielding that tool is important. Like religion in India, why it works so great is because when you have overpopulation and lack of education, there's hopelessness, and hopelessness is lucrative. The people
absolutely.
Who know how to mine hopelessness can milk that for days. And so, but yeah, so that, I guess, I just lost my train of thought.
You're good. No, you're good, man. You're good.
Because then religion is a whole different conversation, which I didn't want to go deep into, but we hit it, and then like that thought came in my mind. I'm like, wait, let me not go down religion right now, because I know we're talking about exploring Mars. And like, but what I mean to say by that is, like, coming back to the original point. Yeah, I think it's important to look in, and instead of looking out. And I think in looking in this moment, it's important to recognize who we are as a whole. We can travel and conquer every planet. They're saying that one of Jupiter's moons or Saturn's moons has water on it.
Titan on Saturn.
Yes. So it's like, what, water? Like, are you kidding me? And so it's like, we're ignorant to believe we're the only form of life. That's just, come on. Like, that we're lucky, like that. If there was a God, that he was that boring that he just made one Earth. Like, you got 13.7 billion light years of space, and that's all you're choosing to do, bro? Come on, you're more creative than that.
Well,
it's very selfish to think that.
It's that human ego that always comes back into play. And
No.
you know, as you were kind of saying earlier, when you I guess in less words, when you can defeat your ego or defeat the human ego, your mind and your expansion just opens up so much more.
Yeah.
All right, so
connectedness is what's important. Sorry, Eric, what
yeah. No, we're saying is you don't strike me, like based on what you said, you don't strike me as a very religious person, but you do strike me as a very spiritual person, right?
Yeah, see, the word spiritual now is like kind of like yoga. Like I don't know what it means anymore because it's like
No, that's not what I mean.
It's
What I
too
mean
new gen for you?
No, what I mean by spiritual is like the way you connect with yourself and the way you interact with others. Like that's what
You're talking about collective consciousness here, buddy. So you do have like a certain wavelength that you're riding on.
100%. What I mean by that statement too is like it in this age it becomes easy. The access to information and the ability to carry flags for different causes has become something that has kind of pulled out the authenticity of certain things.
Yeah.
And so like the word spirituality, and when people say they think I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, I love that. But I try to say yes. I mean, the short answer would be yes. But the longer answer would be, I think that word needs to evolve because it's become something where like even people say now that they do like the word yoga, I think is a perfect example because it's like there's so many different forms and levels and things of it where it's like the way we connect now as a world, the future generations I don't think are going to be religious because religion was a tool was light in darkness. Now we have ample light. And so the way we're going to discover and search and find things is going to be through a different lens. And so that will be the spiritual lens, and it's and even more less than spirituality, it's more yes, spirituality in the sense you're saying, Eric, for sure. I think in my mind the term would be more of like a global and a cosmic consciousness. Like you were saying, Roshan, it's that consciousness is what it is. It's awareness of who you are, awareness of what's happening in the world, and kind of the energy that's taking place. Because I mean, sometimes it's easy to feel helpless, right? When you see certain things. You feel almost like you want to help, but what can I do? But it's more about understanding that we're all in it together and that pain is not monopolized. Pain is a shared thing. It's just pain is a part of life. Birthing is the most painful process. One of the most painful processes here on the baby. And it's out of that absolute pain that comes new life, you know? And so it's like, there is like that phoenix, there is that metaphorical truth to that. So I think, in that shared pain, we can grow a lot, and it's that consciousness that will allow us to see one another's pain as points of connectedness, where it's like your pain and my pain is not different, and that's the problem. The issue always becomes, it's like if you think somebody felt your pain, we don't see people as extensions of ourselves. We see everyone as another, right? Like even if the trees, if we saw as extensions of ourselves, we think twice before we cut it, or a bug, or anything. Right, but we're very like life is so connected, but we're hyper disconnected, right? The whole world is on social media and talking and seeing everything happening in real time, yet there's hyper nationalism everywhere. And so it's like I don't feel like we haven't figured it out yet. We've like hyper excelled in these last 100 years, and we've gotten so much information. I feel like we just haven't figured out how to process it and how to all connect as the populations grow, as we face new issues that we haven't faced before. I don't think we've figured out, and I don't think we're prepared yet either to go back to I think the future will have to move towards some sort of united front. The UN is not enough. These military budgets should be put into a global budget for issue. If we want Bolsonaro to stop setting setting the rainforest on fire to plant soybeans, then we shouldn't be putting a tax on soybeans for China and increasing the market share, the price of the soybeans, since we're the biggest and then pointing to Bolsonaro and be like, you guys when we for New York City took 90% of the trees out to make it the metropolis and the hub that it is of commerce, where 8.5 million people live and breathe and are able to make a living because of the but we don't think about that because it's done. But what I'm saying is like everybody has their own personal things going on. It's like, but we have to understand how it all connects and how we can work together. And that's going to be the next, I think, frontier of this consciousness is like dissolving some of these geopolitical boundaries that we've created, which made sense. It's not that they didn't make sense. They made sense as it happened, but we're evolving now. So, you know, the empires made sense when it was a thing because it led us to, I don't think things were mistakes. I think they have
stepping stones.
Absolutely. We're constantly stepping out of ignorance, right? Every day we're stepping another step out of ignorance because we're learning something new every day. And that's what it is. We're less ignorant from the day before, hopefully. You know,
I actually want to stay on that stay united topic, like more than the UN. Because if you think about it, right now the UN is basically just a political landscape. But if we think about it, like there should be something like, instead of seeing everything as America or Russia or China, we should be like a united world before we actually get out. Because right now everything's just a race to see who gets there first and who has the more power over it, right?
100%. That's it. And what's going to go to Mars? Then it's going to be, once we're interplanetary, then hopefully there will be that. Like we're going to have multiple states and countries on, like, it doesn't even make, like, we as humans need to come together, and it's more the leaders and we as the people though, right? We have the ability to galvanize, we have the ability to, because look, in the end of the day, the politicians represent us. That's one of the things that I feel like we forget sometimes. It's like these people are made to represent us. Like not for 1 second should we feel like this is not our country. Wherever we live, wherever your citizenship is, they can tell you, yeah, we pay taxes. There's certain things like, yeah, I want the roads fixed too, and I want to make sure schools are good, and I want to make sure whatever. So it's fine. There's systems in place. These are all natural processes that we've grown out of. We used to have kings and queens that dictated and ruled what we did. Look, democracy is a social experiment. Take advantage of this moment. This is a real thing that we have the ability to be a part of, where our voice actually matters. That was never a thing. It was before it was Game of Thrones, right? So now that we have this, people are still though, like, they feel so disconnected, and that's because the people in power don't represent us. But it's when we take ownership of our state, of our local, of our land, of who we are and what we want, and are unforgiving in that, because sometimes we're made to feel like we're not, because we look different. I was never made to feel American growing up. Okay, I'm not like, you don't look like American. That's this guy. He's American as hell. Like not off the bat. Like I don't, you know, but my values and everything are absolutely, like I am American. I was born here. Like, and I do like these like values and these principles that the diehard GOPs, and I don't want to get like hyper political. We absolutely can. But like, that these guys are holding on to and like waving this flag of patriotism, it's a lie. These are falsehoods. And so that it's on us, because you know what? I think like this is my country. Like you're not going to like rule me in my own country when in a period of history where I have the ability to have a voice.
And not be a second-class citizen.
Correct. Like that's my choice. If I choose not to vote, if I choose not to run, if I choose not to do anything, then just complain about it. It's like, yo, well then the least, if you don't vote, then don't complain. Then just enjoy. That's it.
Right.
Because that's the least that you can do to be active in the space.
All right. So now that I see the way you think and how you got all these going on in your head and the way you think, I want to know a little more about your process when you're creating music, when you're writing. Like what motivates you? What makes you get there? Because I see you have a lot of topics in your head. So I want to see how that translates to your music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yo, it's funny. Usually with the music, it's either a line or something will hit me. Like if I'm watching something or seeing something, and it kind of just flows from there. Like it really is like my mood and what I'm feeling in that moment, you know. And I try to read as often as I can, and just stay up to date on what's happening in the world. So new ideas. So I never get stale or stagnant. You know, and because it's easy to, and even with listening to the same stuff, because I'm the type of person where when I hear a song and I love it, I'll literally listen to it 500 times in a row and not anything else, and not even care. Where I'm like, bro, I don't even care about anything else. Like I'm in it. So that's just kind of how I operate. But it's important then to take a step back and just, you know, intentionally digest other things and be a part of that, so you never feel like you're stuck in one box or you're stale, you know. And so I'm always like kind of conscious of that. And what I'm writing, but my writing process really just spurs from a thought or idea. Or if I hear a beat and I'm like, ooh, it gives me a mood or a feeling, and I'm like, this, and that will be just like a line or something will hit me, and I'm like, yeah, that, and it'll just go from there. But it's pretty organic in that sense, you know. It's like I'll just feel it, or the beat will just give it to me. Shout out Rush, who produces most of my stuff, and I'll just be in the studio with him, and I'll just start making something, and I'm like, yo. And then something will hit me and I'll just rap it for him and I'll be like, yeah, all right. And then we just kind of build it out from there.
Rush is your producer?
Rush is, yeah, that's my producer. Baby bro, that's my cousin.
Love it. We'll get his link in the description below as well, guys. So definitely check some of his stuff out as well.
Producer, he's been from the jump. You know what I mean? He's been producing all my stuff. So yeah, he's incredible. He's a good producer. So
great.
Yeah,
now that you mentioned now that you mentioned he's your cousin, how is it working with your family when it comes to creating music?
Yeah. A lot of times people are saying don't mix family and business, but how do you see that? Do you see any struggles? Well, one, how is it? Two, are there ever any obstacles or struggles that you do see? Because obviously not everybody's going to always be on the same page.
No, 100%. I personally love it. I feel like I'm blessed. Like we've always really gotten along. It's like the four of us is me, Drew, Rush, and Snake. Snake's my little brother, and then Rush and Drew are brothers, and they're cousins. My mom and his dad are brother sister. So we've grown up together. Like we lived in Ivy Hill Apartments in Newark for 3 years. Like both families in one, 2-bedroom apartment.
Shout out to Newark.
Family. Shout out Newark. Shout out Ivy Hill Apartments. And we grew up together. It was like a extended family setup. Like when we came here, my mom was working like a $3 an hour job with my uncle, and it was just like it was never like a glorious life. Like, I mean, not like that.
Listen, man, I get it. It's that immigrant lifestyle.
I'm not trying to accentuate like the struggle where it was like, yeah, we didn't have food on the table. No, but I mean, like we lived together, like, and we never had like, we're never rich. So it's like that was never the reality, but it was always comfortable middle class. We started off, from that base at the at Ivy Hill Apartments and built up. So, but we grew up together. So it was really dope. So like always like hyper close. Like that's the closest people to me on this earth. Like they know everything about me. There's no secrets. I can tell him whatever. And no, I love it. I can be honest with him. Like we all, and there's always moments where it's like different ideas, and we all have our own moods and temperaments. Me too. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, but we understand each other. So it's beautiful. It's like, that's never confusing. And the love is just so real that it's like, all right, in the end of the day, it's like, even if the music, not whatever, like they'll always, like, those are my best friends. Like there's like, you know what I mean? Like all of our inside jokes are on the same page. Like I just gotta say one word as an inside joke and like, they'll finish the rest of it. Like, it's just, it's like that. So all of our movies are the same. It's like, we're always, it's completely on the same page. So for me, it was a blessing. I feel like I got lucky. Like just the family structure that I've been blessed with is really dope. So I'm really fortunate. But I know I have heard horror stories of that. But luckily, and not even fingers crossed, nothing's gonna happen with Rush. Yeah, like because neither of us are even like that money type where it's like I never, because we always had such like a certain comfortability with money where like it was there, mom and dad working and food was on the table. So it's like that's that brown privilege that we've had, the brown immigrant privilege. So having had that, we were very close. We were always together. I didn't have to get a job early on. I didn't get a job till I was in college. I didn't have to work. So it's like I had a lot of social time. I spent time with a lot of, my friends, cousins, family. So I was, blessed to be very close with them. So yeah, in my particular case, it's a super blessing. I love it. Like I feel like I got super lucky. Like I can hit Rush up and be like, yo, let's make a new track or let's do something and whatever. And he's with it. So yeah.
When was the last time that you were like sitting down, you were like watching something, you were listening to something, whatever the case may be, and you had to stop everything? Let me stop the presses. Let me start writing down something. When was the last time that something like that happened? I think that those are moments of just glory. Like those little light clicks on. It's like, all right, I just got this creative. Let me get it rocking.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago where I wrote this, like maybe like 2 weeks ago, but I was we were going back, like my boy Andrew. So we were like doing audio notes and we were like freestyling with each other, just like sending each other just some dumb, like he like hit me with a couple of freestyles in like a British accent, just like, so I was like, I just sent it back to him with like a bar, finishing his bar, and then from there though, one of the rhyme schemes went off and I was like, wait, what? And I just started going off on this rhyme scheme that was like kind of Eminem-esque in the technicality of the way it hits. I haven't recorded it yet. I'm excited to. It's dope. But yeah, that was last time. I think it was like maybe 2 weeks ago, like 10 days ago or something like that. 2 weeks ago. We were just going back and forth with voice notes. And yeah, like from the voice notes, like just around, I was like, oh wait, this is fun. And then I ended up writing it and just building it out a little. Yeah.
So now that you mentioned recording, I want to know how's the recording process for you? Because I mean, I've recorded. I have a band, and to me, it's very exhausting. Recording takes a lot of time. You have to redo it over and over and over. So I want to see how is it for you? How different is it for you?
Yeah, recording process is pretty it's pretty free flowing. You know, like a lot of times the process for Rush and I will be, we hop in, like you said, mix the beat, I'll start writing, and then I just record it. Most of the stuff is like usually after I write it, I'll just read it a couple times, like get it down in my head, and I'll just go up, read it, and record it, and that'll be it. Like a lot.
One take.
Yeah, a bunch of them, you know, have been one takes for sure. Other times I will hit it multiple times and just get it right, punch in where required. To get like if it's like a particular tone that I'm trying to hit, or I'm trying to accentuate a certain punch or a line a certain way, you know, like I'll punch in so I make sure I have enough breath if it's like a long sequence of bars. But yeah, I would usually it's pretty straightforward. Like usually a couple takes and it'll be done. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty it's pretty efficient. Like usually in 3-4 hours. We'll have a beat made, 2 verses and a hook recorded, like usually in that time frame.
Who creates the beats? Who creates the beats?
Rush.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So he's basically all up in it.
Yeah, he's all the sound. And the mixing and stuff as well. Like he knows my vocals. Because I mean, the first project we did together, which he produced most stuff, was Abstract. Like our first project that I did, I dropped, you know, on Dat Piff back in the day, mixed it.
Oh, Dat Piff. All right, let's get it.
Pretty. Dat Piff dropped in 2009, and Rush produced most of the tracks on that. Like we sampled A.R. Rahman and Artie Berman, and that's when we first started. And we just like heavily chopped and sampled like Thal and Bombay, and like even the Om Shanti Om, like the older stuff. Like
I love hearing Indian samples, by the way.
Yo, love it. Someone just sent me, shout out Sharad. I don't know if you know DJ Sharad, but Sharad just sent me over this beat with Jolike Piche Kya Hai that's chopped up at one of the, yo, you know Jolike Piche Kya Hai.
Of course.
Forever, like iconic banger from the 90s. So yeah, no, dude, I love it. Those sounds are crazy. And like Artie Berman, like we're talking about, like I think he was late 60s or 70s, and it's like even SD Berman, like they both, like some of these sounds are so ahead of their time, and they're just making fire. Like it's crazy.
And you're seeing a lot more nowadays too, where people are mainstreaming more Indian samples. So love it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Now that I see that your cousin creates your beats and you create the music, do you consider your family? Like, do you think you have a musical upbringing? Do you think that has a lot to do with it?
You know, kind of. You know, what's funny? I found out like maybe like 2 months ago. My grandmother, she was a singer. She was a radio singer. I didn't know this till like 2 months ago because one of my uncles, like I'd done like an interview or something, and my mom, she'll like blast it to all her WhatsApp groups whenever like I'll do like an interview with her. So she'll like blast to all her friends. So one of my uncles, and I was talking, he'd hit me up and he's like, did you know your grandmother was supposed to be a radio singer? I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. And I asked my dad, I'm like, wait, Dad, Kikuwa was a radio singer? And he's like, yeah, she used to sing like playback song on the radio. I was like, wait, what? Why did you never tell me this? Like I've been doing this for like 10 years now. Like you never mentioned. But yeah, I wouldn't say a quote musical upbringing because like, but my dad's like a karaoke guy. He loves singing, and my mom. So it's like I would always be hearing Indian music and them always singing. So like my first experiences with music were Indian. Obviously, I wasn't, you know, tuning the radio on.
Yeah, but you're playing Antakshari in the car and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like my first experiences with music and even like culture in that sense were Indian culture because I was consuming whatever my parents were putting on the TV and whatever movies they were taking me to and whatever I was hearing in the car. So yeah, it was yeah. So
love that. Yeah, so you're mentioning a lot of different types of music. I know that you kind of you're an artist, but you kind of focus more towards being a hip-hop artist, or that's more of your sound right now. But, and even if it is, cool. What's like your favorite kind of music? What do you like to listen to? Don't tell me everything.
No. What? You know, I do love listening to hip-hop for sure. Mm-hmm. But I feel like outside of hip-hop, you know, it's like random. Like it'll really like right now my song that I've just been like running on repeat has been an older track from last year. I just like recently went back to, I don't know if you've heard that song by St. John, 5,000 Singles.
Yes. Yep.
But that was like last year I was like blasting that. And then I just like recently, it was funny, like went back to my old 2019 most played songs. Not that like this year hasn't been great music, but it's been a little bit slower. And so I just went back to like what I was playing last year heavy, and that was like my most played song. I put it back on, and I was like, this is why I love this song. Oh my God, I forgot. And so I've just been looping that recently, which is like kind of like hip hop. You know, it's hip hop with that R&B edge because he can definitely sing. But there's this beautiful song. You ever seen the show Fargo? The movie Fargo is great too.
I've only heard of it. I never really went out of my way.
I've watched both.
Did you see season 3 of Fargo?
Yes.
Okay, so you remember the first episode when they're going to play the bridge match? Remember, it's Ewan McGregor, and it's a successful Ewan McGregor, and then the unsuccessful one, his other twin brother. Do you remember when him and his girl are going to play the bridge game? And that song, it's by Adriano Castellano. I'll send it, but it's called Prisen Cola Esenan Chusta or something. It's a wild term. This whole song, right? The premise of it is, I believe, he made this rock song to basically almost be a parody or like a jab at rock music, saying, hey, American rock music is not even saying anything. I can make this song. So he made this song where the whole song, it's gibberish. But when you hear the song, when you hear it, you won't for a second think it's gibberish. You'll think he's saying something, but then when someone tells you, what did he just say? You'll have no clue. You'll be like, I have no clue what he just said. But he definitely was saying something. What was that? It sounded like English. And he's an Italian artist he made this track to almost, I believe it was like almost like a little jab or to mock rock music at the time, saying American rap, like you guys aren't even saying anything. And so he made the song saying Jir. So like I have these random songs like that I'll just throw on and be listening to from Kill Bill soundtrack, from Kill Bill Volume 1 soundtrack.
The whistling song.
Oh, I love the whistling song.
I don't know what it's called, man. I just listen.
That whole soundtrack is perfect. Him and
Kill Bill
and RZA made that. Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies, Kill Bill Volume 1. But
you hear a lot of
Tarantino fan, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I'm a big movie guy. I'm the big movie guy here. Yeah. I've watched basically every movie.
And I've watched Basics.
Now that you said you listen to different things, but you mentioned hip hop as well. So I want to see. Tell me an artist that you enjoy that it's from a different genre.
Artist I enjoy from a different genre.
Yeah. A little bit of T Swift, a little bit of
all that
Coolio.
The pop stuff I'm not mad at. You know, Vishal Dadlani from India. He's a Bollywood singer.
Not particularly.
You've definitely heard.
I definitely have heard. I don't tune in to Indian songs. I have Indian music that plays, but I'm not a big. Not really my thing.
Check out Vishal Dadlani. Just check out when you hear the songs like Roshan. You've 100% heard them. Like, because I know you've been to Indian weddings, so like he has like that banger catalog. But the sounds that he's making, and it's beautiful. And then he has a rock band on the side called Pentagram, where they're making like this like kind of hybrid rock pop music, which is like, it's dope because he does like commercial Bollywood, you know, like mainstream heavy, like all the bangers are his, but then he's also doing that. But his sound and the energy he's putting out in India, I love it. And in that scene, I would say like outside of hip hop, I think he's incredible, and that would be a really fun collaboration too in the future. I would love to have.
Okay, so you basically
we're putting that in the universe right now. By the way, that's going out into the universe right now.
You're going to my next question. Who's an artist you'd like to do a call up with, like do a feature or like an album or a song?
Yeah, I think Young Thug would be a lot of fun.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
Cole would be fun. I think me and Cole would have a lot of fun, like talk, even if we had like a subject or something where we just went deep with it. I know Cole this year just went on a slaughtering spree with these remixes. So dope. But yeah, Cole would be super dope.
I don't know, call me crazy, but I think you would work with a guy. You will also work with a guy like Post Malone. Like that's like slow tracks, and you can rap to it while he's doing the slow part.
Absolutely, I would love that too. I'll definitely take Post Malone feature. Throw that out there as well.
Let me call him real quick. He's gonna join the call.
Yeah, can you hit Posty up? What's he doing?
He's probably just chilling. But guys, there is that we are in a pandemic time, so I don't know if he's gonna be able to make a trip out here.
In a few months, we'll have to wait.
Which actually, so what was like one of the last shows you did before everything shut down?
Yeah, last show was end of February was at Paperbox in Brooklyn.
Okay, so it was really recent before the whole shutdown.
Yeah, it was dope. We had we were on a run for shows, so like it was dope. SOBs was in January, and then like a couple like open mics and just in that scene for whenever they had like either open mics or open aux nights, you know, that was hosted by like Audiomax, SoundCloud, whatever. It'd be like those little in the city events. Was hitting those up to hop on stage and perform as well. And then show wise, yeah, it was at SOB and Paperbox for the last two, both in New York. One obviously in Soho and one in Brooklyn.
I mean, I don't know if I should ask you about anything that's coming up, since right now we are kind of mandated to not have large groupings.
Yeah.
But, did you have anything in the works?
43rd Street tomorrow, if anybody wants to.
All right. I like that.
I'm out.
Okay, I wanna ask you something real quick. I want to see if there's any experience, like any, let's say, more recent experience, like let's say 5 years from now, that you think that changed your music or maybe changed your perception of music.
That's a great question. You know, even I think there was a moment that I had personally, which was dope. That I think in the scene as well, like that it reverberated throughout hip hop. Like last year or 2 years ago, when This Is America dropped, the visuals for that dropped with Childish Gambino. And then after that drop, there's a slew of remixes from people from all around the world repping their community or their country. I feel like that was one of those moments that was really beautiful to see as an artist, and that almost inspired me to go deeper into what the brown narrative would be in the space. Because it was one of those things that, like, you hear a song by Kendrick, like DNA, where he speaks with like such passion about, like, I got loyalty and royalty all in my DNA. Like, well, what do we have as brown people? And it's like, I was wondering that, because I was like, I would love to make something like that, you know, for my community, where it's like the things that we are proud of and the things that made us and brought us to this point. And like seeing someone like Kendrick do that for the Black community is like, it's so empowering. It makes you feel alive, you know? And I was like, I would love to do that. And I feel like This Is America was one of those things. When I saw that visual, I'm like, holy shit. Like, it was one of those things, it transcended like it wasn't even about music at that point. I watched that video back like 15 times. Like, my boy Rishi hit me up. He produced a bunch of my stuff too. He produced Practice. Shout out Rishi. He hit me up and he's like, you have to watch this video right now. I'm like, what is it? He's like, yo, open your laptop right now. I'm like, all right. He's like, this is, and I remember I was watching, I was like, yo. I was like, all right. I was like, I have to call you back. I just gotta watch this like 5 times by myself first before I even like say anything. But like, it was one of those moments, like, because I think it brought the cinematography, the sound, everything, what he was saying. But the way he was saying it was still subtle. It wasn't like a Tupac Changes, where it was like on the nose with a lot of the stuff, that it was like kind of under the surface, but it was done in a way where it was still a bop. Like, you could still nod your head to it and move with it, you know? Like, but it didn't come off as preachy. So it was one of those moments where it made me realize and reflect, where I was like, yo, what is this? How can we embody this and start to create art in this lane? Because you don't need to sacrifice the message for the sake of entertainment. Like, they can both sit hand in hand. And I thought that was a seamless execution that they did with that video and that song.
I mean, yeah, I absolutely love that video. I mean, it's Childish Gambino. I love him since he was in Community.
Yeah.
I like how you're saying that you kind of want to pivot within that space as well, to be able to help the brown community and the people of your culture, like the American brown community as well. Because, like, as you said earlier, like, growing up, you don't really have a staple or a role model that, you know, like, dude, I grew up wearing, you know, fitted caps and Timbs, and I grew up in that tri-state area, and grew up with that hip hop culture, and there was no body really for me to look at that I look like, that you know, I can feel as if my representation is being out there, or that I can even be like, yo, dude, this guy bangs, oh snap, he's from the same area I'm from, and that makes me feel good about myself a little bit better, because it makes me feel like I could do something.
Yeah, no, we never had that pride. Like, in being brown was never cool. That's why, like, we never had that, like, like we don't have a song like DNA because we're not proud of our DNA. Like we're almost like there's like that level of growing up here and being uncertain of where we fit in.
It's like you have to grow into it. You have to grow into I mean, I know like as you get older, you become a lot more proud of your culture, but like when you're like 12, 13, 14, you're like trying to hide that stuff.
Yeah, and we were forced into it. Like there's multiple things. There's one layer of like the assimilation. We like how we speak English. And I share that. Like I remember going to parent teaching conferences and like being embarrassed of my mom's accent when all the other white parents would speak perfect English. Or black parents, but I mean like non-Indian parents would speak great English because they were born and raised here. And my mom, you know, being born in Gujarat, speaks, you know, her version, you know, her English with her accent. So it's like, but I never thought that was cool. I was ashamed of it. I was like, oh man, like, because then and other kids would laugh, and it's like, you know, kids, it's like they don't know any better.
Yeah, absolutely. I got into so many fights because of that. Just growing up, it made life a little bit harder.
It was never accepted. I remember one of my boys, and like he told me this when he got older, but he was even one of my good friends, Mike, and he would even tease me like I was vegetarian, and I remember he would tell me like I'd gone to like the bathroom or whatever the case was, I'd gotten pizza. That he told me like a couple times that he like almost apologized for it later, but that he had put the meat like sauce from his thing on my pizza, that he would like, do that to tease me behind my back, where he would put the grease from his like pepperoni or meat, like rub it on my pizza when I wouldn't be looking, like little things like that. Like small, but it's like stuff that like, you know, I don't know. We didn't have like right now, like a show like that Mindy just dropped. Never Have I Ever. Like, we didn't have that where the lead was just a regular, you know, brown girl in high school, just being a high schooler and being like, yo, I want to have sex or whatever the narrative is. I have to finish the show. But like, yeah, I watched like.
No, I know what you mean though. I saw the intro for it. The trailer.
Have you guys watched this show from Aziz Ansari? What's it called?
Master of None.
Master of None.
Yeah,
I love that show, and I think you're talking a little about his experience.
I'm not a big fan of the dude actually, and which is weird because I was just talking about brown people in the space, but I don't know, man. He's a little too mousy for me.
If you watch the show, you'll kind of relate to some of these things. Just like that sound like some of the situations in the show.
But even jumping back a little bit, like even just growing up, and we grew up in such a weird time frame. We grew up with 9/11 stuff happening. So right. That whole entire brown, people don't know, man. People don't know what the difference between who and what is. So just having a certain skin color turns you into, you know, you're the butt of every joke. You end up being a terrorist. They start mocking you and your family. And it's tough. So you didn't have that representation on a media scale, whether it be like an artist or somebody within the news or somebody within film we were able like, to.
We had a pool, like Roshan. Who were your idols? Like who? We didn't have anybody, and that was the thing. It's like we didn't have anyone we could look up to and be like, oh.
Russell Peters was the first guy. I remember when Russell Peters was started doing stand up, and he was like literally the first Indian person that I could remember, and I was like, that dude's dope. That dude's awesome. Like I like him so much, but it's the first one I could remember.
How did he blow up too? By making the first crux of his first joke was taking that identity and the accent and being like, making it funny and making it comfortable for people. So I think it was brilliant. That was like 15 years ago that he dropped that first special, you know? But before then, like before 2005, it was like, it literally was Thank You, Come Again. Like we and Hodge from Johnny Quest and Saeed from Lost. Shout out Saeed. I always forget Saeed. Shout out Naveen Andrews.
I think even stuff like
he was there.
Stuff like Big Man Theory might even work against like all that progress, right? Because sometimes they're just stereotypical and stuff like that. And I mean, you have no idea how many times I've been called a Mexican just because of my accent.
Which is not a bad thing. My fiance's Mexican, and we love everybody of every. I'm helping out the audience. That's a little crazy.
Okay. No, what I'm saying is, like people are just so set on the like perception of what they have. If they hear something or they see something, and they're just gonna say the first thing they think it is. Like you said, they call you terrorists and stuff like that. I've been called a Mexican, beaner, and stuff like that, and I'm like, that's just wrong. Like,
and that all comes back to the identities like we were talking about earlier. I think as we move towards this global consciousness we were talking about, I think it's shedding some of those identities because we're taught to believe that we are those identities. But in reality, it's like if you grew up in a jungle and you didn't know it, like you wouldn't, like there's race only. And of course, it's like, but we're not in the jungle. But what I mean to say is at the core of this humanity of who we are These are all layers that we've added because of social constructs. Now we have created this, so we can reshift that narrative, but it's just about that awareness. But sometimes we become the identities. We can't separate ourselves from the identities, and that's when that's why a lot of this chaos happens, because when you see someone else as an other, you have no problem removing what would be a threat, but it's not a threat. It's just your ignorance and your misunderstanding.
100%. Like, dude, think about. I'm getting married to a non-Indian. I'm getting married to somebody that is of an American Mexican descent. Imagine the amount of difference that. Yeah, damn right. But imagine the amount of social construct norms that are being broken just right then and there. It's crazy. So the progress, that's something that would not have been a thought process within my parents' generation or my grandparents' generation. So the thought process of that human progression is huge. I mean, America really instilled that whole entire, we can all live together in a unified front and progress together as a race rather than as separate races.
Absolutely, and that's why it's dope. That's why it's like we got to own that narrative, because there's not a lot of places that have that. Like, it's kind of only the U.S. Olympic team. I forget what comedian I think made this joke, but he's like, we're the only Olympic team where you see diversity. Every other Olympic team looks like the country. Like, there's a unique story here. Now it's like time that we own the narrative, because it's been written by people who should have never had the pen for a long time. And now that we have the ability to take this narrative back, I think we should take ownership of it, and I feel like we can write the future, the way that we would like, because in the end of the day, like, nobody owns, like, this is the earth. Like, you can't own this earth. Like, go for it, bro. Like, what are you what? Like, and yeah, they can move towards that, but it's like, nah, like, none of this is owned. We've just constructed it. We've needed to evolve. We went from tribal groups to cities to states to countries. Like, this is a natural evolution. That's fine. This is how. But now, as we continue to progress, like, it's almost like reverse Pangea. Like, it started one, we broke apart, but now we got to come all back
right
together.
Back in.
Digital.
Okay.
Pangea.
So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Let me. So there, obviously, there is going to be growth within human beings. Certain things are going to be casted as unrelatable anymore. But there's something that I don't think I'm ever going to really change, and that is, I have certain superstitions and certain routines that I like to do before I do anything like high octane or something big or something that I'm about to go down and do. You got any superstitions, any routines, anything special that you like to do before you? Yep. Yes, I did. That's called transitioning, guys. Did you use? Do you have any type of routines or any type of superstitions that you like to do before you either perform or you start recording?
Not really anything superstitious. Like, maybe if like recording, like, maybe just roll something up beforehand.
Okay. That's a routine.
Yeah, that's a routine. Like, that's a lifestyle at this point. But yeah, but superstitious, I'm not really superstitious. But yeah, routine-wise, nah, man. I think it's just like I try to just maintain a good energy about me and around me. Like, I have a really good team. Shout out Samia, shout out Jay, shout out Rush. Really positive people around me, and I think that's one of the things that it helps your evolution, and it keeps you grounded when you have people around you that understand the vision and that you trust. So I think less than just specific things. I think it's more the energy that's carried. And then leading up to it, once I hop on stage, everything else shuts off. I don't even think it's done. Like, as soon as I'm walking on, it's like, because you're thinking about it, like, all right, and I'm usually in my head thinking, like, all right, should I say this, do this, like, little things about on stage, how I want to do certain things. But then as soon as, like, it's like, click, done. It's like everything else is, you know what I mean? And then you just walk on
everything stage. Shuts down. No, you turn into a horse in the racetracks. You have the blinders on.
Exactly.
All right, so now that I've seen, like, your message, like, I see that, like, what you talk about and the way you talk about your family, on the way you want to stay close. I want to know what's the message you want the music to transfer to people that listen to it.
I would hope that at the end, when all is said and done, it's like that you feel empowered and to do whatever you want in life, and that you're unforgiving in whatever your truths are. Everyone has a different truth. Everyone has a different story. Your perspective is going to be uniquely skewed based upon your experiences, and just own that, though. And don't be a victim of your circumstances, because there's pain everywhere. And I'm not saying all pain is the same, but that idea of that suffering is optional. I feel like choosing to overcome, an obstacle. There's this quote: "Never view a boulder as an obstacle. See it as a stepping stone to victory."
Love
and I
it.
feel like just keeping that perspective, because that's all there is, right? The energy you carry is that perspective, and maintaining that, I think, is important. So I feel like for a lot of kids, especially in India, it's like there's so many talented kids all over this world, and I feel like a lot of times you're shunned away from being creative or from pursuing what you want to do. It may even be, you're forced into becoming a certain career that you don't want to go, or education, or marrying somebody, whatever it may be. If you don't feel it, don't do it. Just love what you do and own that, and just be unforgiving in your truth. Not everybody has to understand you. That's not how this world works. Like, there are going to be people that misunderstand you, but as long as you understand yourself, that noise won't matter. It's fine, because you can't change it. You can't change everybody.
I love that message. I love that message too.
You lose yourself trying to change everybody. We have that naturally. You have fights with your brother, your family, your girlfriend, whoever, your boyfriend, husband, wife, your employer. So there's constant conflict. It's just, how do you deal with it, and what's the energy that you're putting out? And I think that's the core of it. That's the key. That'll keep that perspective and that energy aligned.
Love that. Which is, actually, so, and that's a great message to set out to people. But a lot of times people do try something or fall short, or what do you think is a common reason, especially within your space and your niche? What do you think is a common reason why people either fail, give up, or, put the pen away?
Yeah. Well, I feel like failing is giving up. You fail when you give up. If you're still going, you're not failing, you're still going. And so it's like, that's what it comes down to, where it's like, when you love it, you're going to want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we believe we want something, and it's because sometimes we don't even know what we want, which is completely okay. What's beautiful is, in the end, it doesn't matter. That the most beautiful thing is, when all is said and done, it's like your story, it goes on, and it doesn't matter. So it's just how do you want to live, and how do you want to tell your story? I think would be the most important thing, right? Taking ownership of your autobiography. This is your story.
What are you going to do about it?
Make it exciting. Make it dope. Yeah, because it's easy to get lost. Everyone has an opinion. It's so cheap. It costs nothing. You could work 20 hours on a song, and 20 seconds and be like, oh, it's trash. I don't like it. Okay, cool. What? So, but if you love it, in the end of the day, so that's it. You love it. You know what I mean? That's that idea that ignorance is bliss. There's some truth, not even some truth, there's so much truth to that. But it's how do you find bliss when navigating out of ignorance? And that's where it becomes a lot of problem, because you can remain ignorant to everything and just be oblivious. It doesn't matter. But it's we don't want to. We want to be kind of in control of the narrative and to be in the know. And so with that, a lot of times we lose that kind of bliss, because we're in search of, or constantly, finding ourselves short of others. That comparison model too. I think that's another important thing, is don't compare yourself to other people. Unless you're using it as fuel to motivate yourself, you can easily bring yourself down incredibly by trying to compare yourself to other people, where it's well, it's not your story, and it's not your narrative, and that's not your collection of experiences, and it's not, everyone's luck is different too. But that opportunity you create for yourself is all you have control of. So it's just you got to own that,
Absolutely. And don't shut doors on yourself. There are opportunities, hidden opportunities that you never even know about. My life is filled with hidden opportunities that I just figured out afterwards. Hey, that was an opportunity and I took it. Thank God I did.
Yeah. So just don't fear failure. I think that's the biggest thing. Fear of failure is paralyzing. And I think it's important to fail and fall and get back up. That's the only thing, is just get back up. That's it. What, are you never going to ride a bike because you might fall off? Yeah, that's fine. But get back up. The only thing is just get back up, and keep it moving.
In reference to that, I guess like a little life experience of mine once was when you go to India, everybody's riding motorcycles. So I went to go visit one time, and I was 15 years old, and my dad had got me a motorcycle there to ride around on. So I was like, all right, cool. Day one, got hit by a car. So I got rocked by a car. Not cool. Got up, though. I didn't break anything. Went to the hospital, got like a tetanus shot, did whatever I had to do. And literally, like, I think either the next day or the day after that, we were all going to go somewhere. And the family stacks in the car. My sister would go on the moped and I would go on the motorcycle. But I was like, Dad, like, I don't want to do it. Like, let me just go in the car with you guys. And he was like, what are you talking about, man? Like, just do it. Don't be a little, like, my dad was still very, he's a hard dude. So he was just telling me basically, essentially, don't be a little, just get on the damn thing and you can do it and go forward. And since then, a big thought process, I always shun back or think back to that moment, because a big thought process in my mind is like, dude, like, you literally just got to get back on the horse and keep going. And if I didn't do that, every other trip that I went back to, I would have not have had a good time, because I wouldn't have had that independence that I had.
Nah, yeah, and that reminds me of Sav from Tiger King. She got her arm ripped off. A week later, she's back in the Tiger Fed.
Yo, no cares given at all.
Hard,
like,
right? I was like, yo, hard.
And he was like trying so hard to like be like, yo, guys, this is cool. It's cool. I'm only missing. It's fine. We're good.
Didn't they tell him 2 years to get his arm back? And he's like, nah, that's too much.
Yeah. He's like, nah, I don't want to. Just lop it off. Let me go back to work.
Yeah.
They're just some hard people out there, man. And that's the thing. Everybody is human being. Is a human being. So, sometimes you just got to dig a little bit deeper inside of yourself, but understand that you do have that capability, that potential to be able to brush things off and truck forward. So,
yeah. I think, like you were saying, like, that was beautiful, that moment with your dad where he was just like, yo, nah, you're right. Because, I mean, life is pain, right? Like, it's, if you look at it, if you want to look at it that way, but it's more just like pain is preservation, though, right? If we didn't have pain, we probably wouldn't be here as a species. Pain is required for survival. It's how we manage it that's up to us, because pain's always going to be there. If we didn't have pain, people would just be walking into the streets in traffic, bouncing all over the place, walking into volcanoes. Nobody would care because you wouldn't feel anything and it wouldn't matter. But pain allows you to feel, right? It becomes something, and it becomes a preservation of your body, right? It's just like it allows you to maintain those senses, right? These tools that measure everything for us, our sensory tools. So yeah, I think it's important. It's just managing it and understanding its place in life, because pain is everywhere. Like, you look anywhere and you can find pain if you want. But it's just what's happening with that. It's a natural part of life. Like, life is life. This is what it is. And
it's either you're gonna step up or step off.
Right. Yeah, now
that's a big motivating factor for me in my life. You're either gonna step up or step off, guys. Like, either you're gonna do it or you're gonna not. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna talk about it all day, or you're gonna do something about it?
In life, it's basically either you do it or the next guy will. Because that's basically it.
100%.
The next guy is definitely willing to do it. So I wanna now on that note, I wanna move towards this question, because now that I see your mindset and the way you think, Zu, I wanna know what's next for Taizu. What's next for you? What do you think is your next step?
Next step, like this, like, an EP's coming, working on definitely a bunch of music. I want to drop a bunch of music this year, so definitely a bunch of music coming. Outside of music, I want to shoot a short film. My target was by August. I don't know if I'm gonna still hit that, but I'm like wrapping up these screenplays, but definitely by the end of this year. But I'm hoping by fall, I want to film a short film. I've been writing a couple things. I just got to finalize it, get it right, and I hit some of my boys up. But I want to film a short film and start moving more into that space. Not even moving more into, but also incorporating that into the art that I'm producing.
Cross intersect. So you're gonna have a lot more content that you're gonna bring out to the public. So pull up and push the button were two songs that you have just recently put out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pull up and push the button. I was gonna start up Taizu Tuesdays and just start dropping tracks weekly, and I took a breath and I was like, I wasn't feeling dropping these tracks, so I just chilled out. We just dropped these two. So Pull Up's dope. They're both produced by Rush. Pull Up's melodic. It has that kind of it's about love and it's about pulling up. It kind of fits the mood of right now. And Push the Button as well. That's a little bit more aggressive in bars. And it's kind of just pushing on like the anxiety and the angst of now, like, all right, push the button. So yeah, I dropped both those in April. Yeah, like a month ago.
Love that.
Yeah, so both those are definitely fairly new tracks. Couple weeks fresh, and then a couple more tracks coming. EP's there. We're waiting to get it packaged. We want to do a proper release with like a sponsor, so we're lining some things up. So that should be dope. But we're just waiting until things kind of the world opens back up, so it makes sense and we can do the push the way that we had intended. But definitely a bunch of singles coming. Maybe like a little quarantine EP, a care package. There's this track called "Feel Good" that fits the mood of right now too. That it's funny. I had written in late January. I was just feeling a certain way when I was at my boy Jay's place in LA.
You're feeling good?
Yeah, I was feeling good. Yeah, I was just feeling like incredibly grateful. Like it was one of those moments where I was like, I almost felt like undeserving of like this love and like everything. But it was not like. It was more like this, which transcended to gratefulness, where I'm like, holy shit, this is so. And I wrote this track in that moment of just feeling good, where I was like, man, life is good. Like, even if nothing happens after this and fails, like, life is good. Like, I'm so incredibly fortunate and lucky. It's like, I should be grateful for that. So, and then I wrote that song, which, and then it's crazy. We just re-recorded it like a little bit ago. And I feel like, that'll fit the mood of what's going on right now. Because I feel like definitely people's energy are low. My energy would feel low sometimes. I'd just be sitting here, I'm like, you know what I mean? I just like zone out and do my own thing, watch something dope. But it's natural, right? Like we're human, so we have waves of emotions. That is like, you're never always on the top of the mountain. You got to come down. You know what I mean? Air's thin up there.
All right.
So
okay. So just we have you said feeling good?
Yeah, feel good.
Oh, feel good. So feel good's coming. We got 2 songs that just dropped. What else is on the way? So we can so everyone remember to check on Taizu's channel. He's gonna be dropping all this music. It's gonna be awesome. By the time this interview is out, this music's probably gonna be out. So make sure to check.
Yeah, and we're gonna have his information in the description below, guys. So make sure you check out support if you like his stuff. Make sure you hit that like button for him. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. See some of the cool stuff that's coming out there. All right, so you know what? We are actually about to start wrapping up in courtesy of your time. So we're going to hit you with a couple of rapid fire questions in our Commotion Locomotion section.
Love it.
So that'll be going off. So, Eric, you want to start? You want me to start? Because I have no problem.
You start.
Love it, love it, love it. All right. So, if you could give your past self some advice, what would it be?
I would say be yourself. I feel like there was moments where I doubted who I was, what I wanted to be, listening to a lot of different opinions and people's thoughts. Trust yourself and be yourself. I think it's important. You know, getting to know yourself is like critical.
Love it. You're gonna do lunch with one person, dead or alive. Who are you hanging out with?
Whoa. I mean, alive. I think I would grab lunch with Wayne. Like,
okay.
A part of me is gonna say Obama just because I love that's, you know what I mean, like that's Obama. But I feel like I would have more fun with Wayne than I would have with Obama. I feel like then it would be cool. I'd be like, all right, you know what I mean? It would be mad love. But I feel like with Wayne, it'd be like, you know, like we're hanging out, and I'd be like, all right.
You'll hit it off. Like,
I mean, you're gonna be able to smoke a blunt with Wayne. You're not gonna be able to do that with Obama.
Exactly.
We did have somebody say Trump one time, so you know,
that would be interesting. Like having some shots with Trump. I mean, that shit would be hysterical. Are you kidding me? That guy
would be tremendous.
He's a clown. He's hysterical. Like this guy, he's here to entertain. So
it would be huge. It would be tremendous. It would be
the best.
It'd be the biggest interview of all time. It'd be the best dinner of all time. 100%.
So, spirit animal or animal partner? Who are you looking at?
Right now, I would say lion. I'm feeling lion.
Okay.
Like, I go back and forth between lion and tiger, and then I had this phase where like I was like obsessed with like eagles and falcons, like this idea of the bird, because they're so beautiful. They're incredible creatures.
Check one out with a GoPro on it. They've put GoPros on an eagle and a falcon, and when you actually see their point of view of flying, insane.
Dude, they're marvelous. And like a peregrine falcon can swoop down at like speeds of like 180 miles per hour. Like, can you imagine that? Like 3 times faster than a cheetah? Bro, next level. So yeah, I had this like obsession, and then I had this period where I was obsessed with duck-billed platypus. I know it's supposed to be a rapid fire answer, and I apologize.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. They never end up being rapid fire, brother.
And also this animal. But I love the duck-billed platypus because Psyduck from I used to love Psyduck from Pokemon, and he was a duck-billed platypus. He was Misty's. Shout out Misty. She had a duck-billed platypus, so she had Psyduck. So I used to love that animal. And it's a mammal that lays eggs and lives in the water and has a bill. So that's very interesting. There's not a lot of mammals that lay eggs. And it has a pouch. So
constant conundrum.
Crazy. Yeah, and it has poisonous claws. Like it's a very interesting creature. It's like evolutionary wise, like how that creature came together. It's like a wild mix of things.
It's a mess.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. It's cool. So I always found that like a fascinating animal. But right now, like after I've been, in a Tiger King, I was just like those cats are just so incredibly beautiful and powerful. And I was always back and forth between lions and tigers. Like I still in my head that I can't. Like I just love them both. They both have their qualities that are so perfect. Like one, this solitary, like stealthy, beautiful, sexy beast, and then the other one is just like this king of the jungle. Mufasa will fuck you up. Like what are like get out? You know what I mean? Like how do you? They're both dope.
So we're gonna put you as
got the mane here, so I feel like the lion would be.
So we'll put you as a lion platypus.
No. He's gonna be. He's a griffin. He's the mythological lion
I like that.
wings. Come on, man.
Bars. I like that.
Keep it hard here.
I can see the lion with the beard and the hair. So yeah, I can see that.
What is your best habit? Not your worst, your best. What are you proud of yourself about? What are you good at?
Oh, that's a nice question. My best habit. I think I'm happy that I'm a curious person. Like I try to approach situations with an open mind, and I try to like be curious actively about things and to try to learn and to think about stuff from a more critical like perspective. And I feel like that's helped me just with my perspective and my relationships a lot, and with my music. Of course, like just being aware of that. So yeah, I think curiosity is important. I think my ability to be curious and to want to learn.
Love it.
Okay.
Favorite food?
Favorite food?
Yes, sir.
It's like easy. Like I love like pizza all day though. Like, but I mean,
favorite pizza topping then, if that's what you're.
Oh, fire! Favorite pizza topping? It depends on my mood. Okay, so if I'm feeling something like hearty, like I would love a pan with like jalapenos and like maybe green peppers and onions.
I knew that was coming. The Indian standard jalapeno and onion.
Yes, capsicum as they call it as well. Capsicum in there, aka green peppers for those who don't get pizza in India. So those three on like a pan would easy. But if I'm getting like a thin crust, then just plain cheese and maybe put like basil on it, like or something like light. But I love just the cheese and the sauce and like you bend it and like it just like drips forward because it's too much cheese and the dough can't handle it. And I'm like, yeah, but I can handle that cheese.
Okay.
I got a few more for you, bud.
That.
Next place you want to travel?
There's 2 trips that I've been planning in my head I want to go to, which is St. Lucia and India.
Okay.
On just like a trip, I would love to go to Australia.
Okay.
I have fam there and I haven't got a chance to visit, and I want to see the Great Barrier Reef before we destroy it and bleach the whole thing. Like, I really wanted to see that. So Australia, like a non-music related trip or not like that, I would love to go to Australia. But like music and just like life related, like, St. Lucia and India are on the radar. Hopefully, I don't know if this year is going to be a thing. Let's see. But yeah, to go soon.
Nice. What's a useful skill you have? So, example, I can flip my eyelids. I can crack weird parts.
I can crack my fingers, yeah.
It's dope. Like a weird skill that I have.
Yeah, useless skill. Something
except for growing extremely beautiful beards at a rapid pace.
Yeah, this is a pretty useless skill. My most useless skill. So many. Where do I begin?
I just need one, man. I just need one.
I would say maybe.
We'll go back to that one. We'll jump back to that one. We're gonna hit up. We're gonna hit a pause or a pass on that one.
There's plenty. Don't worry about that. I'm just trying to think what that would be. I'm like, what are my skills? What am I skilled at that's like useless?
It's fine.
It is all good. So, you can only listen to 3 music artists for the rest of your days. Who are these people?
Wayne. I'd have to say, Wayne, Kanye.
Okay.
Who's the third? You know, just to add some variety in there, legit, I think I would throw Vishal Dadlani in there because it would give me a whole range of Bollywood music from a whole bunch of movies that I wouldn't get otherwise. Because then the other person I was thinking, then like, I love Drake, obviously, and he has a nice catalog where he has plenty of bangers over his past 10 years. Like, Drake has so much music. But I feel like with so much hip hop then already, like I got with Kanye and Wayne, it's like, all right, there's a lot that I'm going to get there, especially with Wayne. And then we can flip it for the last one to get because I do really enjoy Bollywood music. So,
I kind of expect a little variety too. So you don't want to listen to the same thing every day.
No, because it'll get dull. I might even have to switch Kanye out, but off top right now, like Kanye's catalog is crazy. Kanye has a crazy catalog. Graduation was like one of my favorite albums. Like I remember exactly where I remember going to Best Buy and buying that purple album and like because that's when him and 50 Cent were having that feud. But anyway, that would be the 3.
How do you define success?
I would say happiness is I feel like an easy one, but I think that the underlying of that is being proud of who you are and what you're doing. I think like there's this like inherent need where, you know, we don't really have purposes, but we have this inherent need to have a purpose, want a purpose. And I feel like when we accomplish things, I know me personally, when I write something, record something, film a video, whatever, when I'm accomplishing things or doing things that I love, that I'm passionate about, it adds and enhances my energy and it makes me, you know, builds onto this idea of success. I would say being proud of who you are and what you're doing as well. But the what you're doing ties into the who you are. But I would say both of those, you know, kind of it works separate as well.
All right. I like that.
Okay, awesome. And what are your favorite sports, man? And that's my last one. Easy one.
My favorite, like, I play chess. My favorite sports to watch, tennis. Like,
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm definitely tennis. Like, growing up, my dad was a huge tennis fan. My brother, Vero, he played tennis, like high school and stuff. But yeah, no, I definitely tennis. Big, like, Federer fan, of course. Nadal is super dope as well. And Kyrgios.
Did you have to choose Nadal or Federer? Who would you pick?
Out of the two, I would pick Federer. He's like the ultimate gentleman. Like, Federer is like the classiest, like, sportsman of all time. I don't know how you get classier than Federer. He's just like a class act. He's a gem. Yeah, I love him, but I love Nadal. Like, the two of them, like, they're great. They're dope. They just went on live recently. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was hysterical. They're so funny together. They have just fun. They're just buddies.
I'll look it up. I haven't.
Watching sport, tennis, playing. I played roller hockey for a couple of years.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I played roller hockey. I love rollerblading. I'm pretty nice on rollerblades, for sure.
Okay.
My question.
I recently tried to show off real fast. I recently tried to show off ice skating to my fiance back in like December. I've skated my whole entire life, never had a problem. The one time I tried to show off, took a little bit of speed, tried to make a nice little cut, forgot to put my hands out, and just all the momentum right to the face.
That happens sometimes.
It does. I got up and I was like, nah, I'm good, guys. Don't even worry about it. I'm leaking. You know, it is what it is. But I'm trying to convince her to go again. She's like, what are you doing?
It hurt, but not physically.
It hurt my pride. That's what happened. It hurt my pride.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so my questions are a little faster. I want to know a little about you growing up. So first, favorite superhero growing up?
Favorite superhero growing up? Batman.
All right, you're one of my kind. All right, that's my favorite.
Batman.
Not gonna lie, you can see it on my bottle.
Oh, fire.
Awesome, okay, Eric. We'll have to blur that out now.
Nah, it's still like that. All right, favorite cartoon growing up?
That's tough. Rugrats, Doug was always there. Like Rugrats and Doug back in like those were the two. Hey Arnold, of course, was there.
Yeah.
Like Real Monsters, Cat Dog, kind of towards the end. That's when the kind of SpongeBob.
Nicktoons, basically.
Listen,
all
Nicktoons had it. Johnny Bravo, I used to watch. Powerpuff Girls, I used to watch. Powerpuff Girls was hard. Are you kidding me? Mojo Jojo was one of the hardest bad guys on television. Unstoppable.
I like Dexter a lot. Love Dexter.
Yo, Dexter's Laboratory. Are you kidding me? Dexter and Dee Dee's back and forth. Like, are you kidding me? Dee Dee was hysterical. She'd always pull up Dexter. I'm like, yo, she gets it. Like,
all right, I'm gonna send you a little art I did a couple of days ago for the Justice Friends. Dexter's Laboratory. Yeah.
Dope.
Like
now you got Taizu's lab. Where you're cooking up bars.
That sounds like a record, right?
Taizu's lab.
Yeah. All right. Any nickname growing up?
Nah, everyone called me Mono. All my other like brothers, my little like they all three of them had nicknames. Sweetu, Riku, Mitu. All rhyming nicknames, and I was the firstborn. I never got a nickname. So then, like growing up, my aunt would just call me Crunchu. But yeah, that was like that was about it. But then no, I never really had a nickname as such. Like all my brothers did. But yeah, I was blessed with a nickname. I was firstborn though, so they can't take that from me.
Hey,
I made it first.
Yeah, you won. All right, any qualities you look for in friends?
Quality I look for in friends, honesty and vulnerability. I think they go hand in hand as well. But I like people that are vulnerable, that are open. I'm very open. I'm an open book, and I like people that are the same way. Not too many people that have I don't know, too many masks that they wear. I like kind of being as free and open as possible.
Okay, so one last question just to close up. What's the one message you would like our listeners from you? Like any message you'd like to give them?
To other artists?
To anybody listening. What's a message that you want out there for the people?
Yeah.
What's your message out there, man?
Look, I would say just you have one life. And the most beautiful thing that will happen, the biggest gift of this life is that there's no relevance to it. It does not matter. So use that as liberty to move freely in this world. You can be anybody you want. Wake up tomorrow and just be that person. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. They're not paying your bills. They're not going to be there. You know what I mean? They don't have to support you. They might support you if they don't want to. That's fine. Just be unforgiving in your truth. Be who you are. Wake up tomorrow and just write your autobiography exactly the way you want. You know what I'm saying? Make that. And here's the other thing too. Like one of my friends had commented, like, I'm not saying that everyone should go be an artist. I'm not saying everyone should go be the next biggest film director. I'm saying whatever you want to be, whatever gives you joy in this life, do that. And just be unforgiving. Everyone's going to tell you what they believe based upon what gives them joy. That's okay because that's through their lens. You have to figure out what you want and not give up because everyone's going to, it costs nothing just to shut you down. But go out swinging because it's not going to matter, right? You're going to go back to dust. You're going to go back to nothingness. You came from nothing and you're going to go back to nothing. So all this money, that industry hyper accentuating and just selling this like jewelry that you need money is success. These cars are success. Half these guys are broken on the inside. They don't know what's going on, and that's fine. I'm not here to judge them either. But just take that comfort in knowing that like there's a lot of this that's an act, that's a facade, that's a lot that's like that they're pushing out there because money makes money. But you don't need that. You got you, and as long as you're okay with living your truth, none of that matters. And success is not money. So like that. Like I was never a money guy. Like I never chased money. I never did anything for money. I do things because I need money to push myself. We always need that. That's just the structure and society we live in.
Yeah. You need to have some type of financial backing.
But
to an
do
extent.
not base your life around the ideals of others.
Yeah, do what you love and don't love money.
Just do what you love, yo. Like that breaks my heart when I see kids just doing. I've gotten so many DMs from kids that are like, yo, I never, even my friends who are now successful in their careers, or they're just like, will say things to me like, damn, like, I never like would have thought or had like courage. And I'm not even trying to call myself courageous, but like would say stuff like that to me where it's like, oh, I never saw it as courageous. I just saw that there's no other option. Like, what, you want me to go do that? So I'm going to do that? Like, I don't even see it as courageous. I just see it as like, this is what I want to do with my life. And if I fail, I'm going to fail on my own terms. And I'm okay with it. I'm not going to fail on your terms. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm going to fail, that's on me. And I'm okay with that. Be okay with failing. Just keep moving. That's it. Keep moving. Keep going.
Like a shark, man. They only
All right,
move
guys.
forward.
Yeah, remember, guys, be okay with failing. Just keep moving, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as you get up, it does not matter. It's when you don't get up that it's the problem. Just get up and keep it moving. Everyone.
Love that.
Okay,
And
that was a
much
great
love to
message.
everybody. And much love to everybody. But you already know.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool. We're gonna start wrapping up soon. Yo, thank you so much for taking out time and being with us today on the Commotion, Taizu. We really appreciate you. Guys, if you're liking liking any of the stuff that you have heard with Taz today, we're gonna have his YouTube and his Instagram and all of his information below, linking it over to him. So definitely go check him out, support him, and please make sure that you guys are commenting as well. It kind of helps us out. Taz, we're gonna get your info from your agent later. Get like a size for you. We're gonna send you a shirt or a hoodie. We'll send you some merch.
Fire.
Nah, man, we appreciate you having you on, man. That was it was really cool.
Absolutely. I would say folding a fitted sheet is probably my most useless skill set. But
Hey, it
there
always
you go.
comes back full circle.
I would say it's not like that useless, because I found myself like I had to YouTube that. How do I fold this thing? Like, what is the shape? So, but I got it on lock now, so I'm nice with it. The trick is you put your hand in the fitted part and then each fitted corner on top of it.
Hey,
All right.
okay. It always comes back full circle. Love it.
All right, guys, remember we're dropping videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. If you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. And remember to hit the notification bell. And comment below what's your most useless skill. We just saw Taizu's and you know our skills, useless skills. So please comment that as well.
Yeah, man. Really glad to have everybody here, and we will definitely catch you next time. Please stay safe, please stay smart, and stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
Grinding my whole life. Stop that. Grinding my whole life.